Hello. The very first stream of 2026. May this year be a fruitful year for this channel and a fruitful year full of live streams. Well, at least 12 live streams since, I stream once a month. But I don't need to establish my streaming schedule, if you want to call it that, since I've been streaming once a month for like what, 5, 6 years at this point. Hello, Robert. How are you doing? Hello, Dylan. People are really following in this time. Usually it takes like 5 minutes for someone to write in the chat. Hello, EcoPunk. How are all three of you doing on this decent Friday? It's kind of a gloomy day. It's not raining or anything. Well, not right now at least. It might rain later. Been pretty breezy though. Feels nice. I have the window open though. I guess I may as well open up the stream with this. I'm sure all of you have heard about the woman, Renee Good, who was murdered by that piece of shit ICE officer. Oh, yeah. Got a special guest here this time, Pink. She's looking out my window, one of her favorite things to do. She might want to leave in a few minutes, though. Anyway, I might make a video on that about the ICE officer killing that woman, but it's just abominable. Like, how much this presidential administration has been going to bat for this, you know, unequivocal murder, and this officer who committed said murder. And, it's also really disgusting to see all these fucking piece of shit MAGA people completely shit on this woman and her death and saying she got what was coming to her because she s- slightly moved her car not in the direction of the officers, trying to make it seem like she was trying to mow down ICE officers when she wasn't. She was trying to get out of their way with her car. And that warranted a death sentence. And, again, all these people are like saying she got what she deserved and all that shit. It's so funny, like all the tone policing that followed Charlie Kirk's death because not everyone wanted to be on the fucking ground crying for him. And yet a lot of these same people are like, making fun of, making memes and shit out of the murder of a private citizen. At least the Charlie Kirk, he was a public figure spewing propaganda and hate and hatred. This woman was a private citizen up until a few days ago when she was murdered. Kind of a difference between the two. But, of course, standards doesn't apply to these people, and all the stupid tone policing regarding people's reaction to Charlie Kirk, and oh, not everyone was sad. Uh, that's so scandalous. We gotta cause people to lose their jobs over that. It was always just selective outrage from the beginning. Nothing to take seriously at all. But those are just my jumbled together thoughts. I might make a full video about what happened and the reaction from MAGA. Probably won't record it this weekend though. Not because I'm busy or anything. I have fuck all going on in my life. I just don't feel like making a video this weekend. Maybe I'll record it on Monday and upload it Tuesday. Some weekends I just don't feel like making videos. Anyway, what's the chat been saying? Hello, Mikey. Hello, Dylan, EcoPunk. I'm all right. 2026 has been good so far. Well, I mean, we're only 9 days in. 2026 still has plenty of time to go downhill. Not to be overly pessimistic. I mean, I hope this year is a good year and a step up above last year. I mean, last year was just for me personally. But hopefully this year will be a significant step up from just being even though it probably will be another meh year for me because that's how most years tend to be for me. With the exception of certain years that I won't discuss. Can't miss this stream. It's always nice to interact. Yeah, it's always a lot of fun interacting with the chat in these streams. It always bends my mind that people would even want to interact with me for 2 hours just watching me lay in bed. And hello, I think Pink sees something. She sees something outside. She's in hunter mode. I love her. But yeah, it bends my mind that people would even want to watch me lay in bed interacting with the chat for 2 hours or however long this stream will be. The joys of having a YouTube channel that managed to amass a small audience. I'm having a decent Friday. I can't say I've really done much today since I only woke up a few hours ago. Just felt like I don't really have any plans today aside from running errands a little later. So I figured why not bullshit with the chat on this fine Friday on January, what was it? January 9th it is. I just started last night playing the Super Mario Galaxy port on the Switch, and I'll get to Galaxy 2 after I finish Galaxy 1. I don't know if I'll 100% the game. I got close to 100%ing both Galaxy games when I was little, but I remember raging the fuck out at the final level. The real final level, not the, final fight with Bowser, in both games, and I never finished them. Don't know if I'll do that again. But oh god, the nostalgia was just overwhelming last night playing Galaxy. Because both Galaxy 1 and 2 are my favorite Mario games. And I loved them so much as a kid, and I played them all the damn time. Both games. And I haven't played either game since I was a kid, so it was nice. It was nice at least playing a little bit of Galaxy 1 last night. I kind of sort of put down Metroid Prime 4, which was the game I was playing before Galaxy. Uh, it's unfortunate, but I really didn't care for Prime 4, especially that big, empty, ugly open world. Ugh. I might make a video on that too about not caring for Prime 4 all too much. Really unfortunate. Like, that game was in the oven for 8 years. I even saw a complete reset in the middle of its development, and it just ended up being underwhelming, at least for me. I got to a part where you had to collect all these stupid fucking crystals, and I remember going around the open world collecting as many of those fucking crystals as I could, and I still wasn't close to getting all of them or getting enough, however many the game wanted me to get. It was just, I was like, no, I don't care. I don't want to do this fetch quest bullshit that locks me out of completing the game for the sake of padding. Like I bared the padding in Prime 1 and Prime 2, the stupid fetch quests that are at the end of both games. Never played Prime 3, though I want to someday. Because at least with those two games, I had a lot of fun playing those games up until that part. So I was invested enough to see the end of both of those games, but not with this game. Right when I was hit with that bullshit, I was like, nah. I already don't care about the game. I really don't want to fucking do this fetch quest bullshit. So fuck it. Goodbye. Maybe I'll finish it someday, but really don't feel like finishing it now. So onwards to Mario Galaxy. It is a much better game. Both games. It's snowing where I am. It's been snowing on and off these past 2 or so weeks. We haven't gotten a whole bunch of snow. A lot of the snow we got either came intermittently with or came mixed, I mean, with rain, or just not a lot of it accumulated and it melted away pretty quickly. Though a few weeks ago we did get not a whole lot of snow, but enough where I had to go out and clean a little bit. That's not fun. Snow was a lot of fun when I was a kid, when I would go outside and play in the snow and make snow angels and shit, and try to make snowballs that I would throw at my mom and dad. But not so much as an adult when you have to go out and clean it. I applied for 4 jobs today at the local library. Well, best of luck with getting a job. It's not easy. Not to discourage you or anything, but just saying, it's not easy. Take it from me, who's someone who's been trying to get a more stable job for a while at this point, only to be either rejected or flat out fucking ghosted. It doesn't help that the kind of jobs I'm looking for are being automated away. What a great time to be a young adult, right? Starting this fucking chapter in your life in the midst of a horrible job market and with AI taking over everything. Ugh. I was just listening to a cool album. What album was it? I was listening to some music right before starting this stream. It was Pink Floyd. Surprise, surprise. Why did my screen get all fucky? I think I remember this happening in the last stream too. So let me open up Safari. I didn't think this would happen again. Very frustrating. I don't know if YouTube's live stream dashboard has been glitching out or anything. Come on, come on. Gotta sign in. Yeah, I think I had this problem last stream where the stream dashboard just fucking glitches out. The last time it happened towards the end of the stream when I didn't have that much longer to stream. And this time it's at pretty much the fucking beginning. Oh, I got a YouTube comment. What's this? Probably uh, another chud under my Venezuela video. This is the greatest thing that happened to America now that we control their oil equals lower cost of living. Yeah, imperialist bullshit. We're anti-war, bro. There we go. I can see the chat again. Trump seems more concerned about Greenland than the country he leads. Well, he wants to expand his empire, like the imperialist fascist he is. At this point, I don't take anyone seriously who doesn't want to, who still wants to scold people for calling Trump a fascist. Since I was young, I was kind of scared of cops and military soldiers. Now I know why after learning how the police and military really stand for. I've hated cops for a long time. I'm not so keen on the military either, especially well, not especially after Venezuela, long before that, frankly. Um no, yeah, cops are just fucking state level thugs basically, meant to instill fear into the public and enforce blind obedience. They don't serve you, they don't care about you. I mean, anyone who wants to like do the fucking bad apple bullshit. Oh, there's only some bad cops. They're not all bad. Anyone wants to do that bullshit in the fucking 2026. Yeah, they're those people are not worth taking seriously either. 2026 has already went downhill with ICE in Venezuela. Yeah, I mean, in terms of current events, this year is already off to a pretty rough start, frankly. You good? No, she's cleaning herself. But yeah, I mean, for me, like in terms of my personal life, 2026, it's really too early to call this a good year or a bad year. But current events, I mean, this year is just shaping up to be a disaster, kind of like how most years are with current events. 2020, I already read that. School has been very tiring. Thank goodness I'm graduating this year. Uh, high school. I finished high school almost 7 years ago now, 2019. Hard to believe that much time has already passed. I still feel like I'm fresh out of high school sometimes. I still keep up with a decent amount of people I knew in high school. Not everyone. Some people, just kind of went our separate ways, either, just naturally or cut them off because they weren't such good people. But I won't get into that here. It's in the past. Yeah, part of me kind of misses my high school days, but a bigger part of me doesn't. I mean, of course, I miss seeing a lot of the friends that I made in high school on a daily basis. That aspect I miss. The whole, social aspect, I mean. But there's a lot of other shit that I don't miss. Certain teachers, ooh, the work, especially math. I'm not a math person at all, but I've already made that clear on this channel a million times. I could never get the grasp of shit like algebra and geometry. I mean, I get the value in teaching those subjects, but well, nowadays I do. But I've just never been able to grasp it. I've always had much more of a English and lit brain than a math brain. I've heard good things about the Galaxy games, and I hope I can get the Galaxy 1 and 2 ports for the Switch sometime this year. They're great games. It's a little awkward though playing the game with a traditional controller. I'm playing it with a pro controller. Kind of weird to do the pointer and collecting star bits with the cursor. I'll get the hang of it, I'm sure though. since I'm still so used to playing the game with the Wiimote, and you can shake the controller to do the spin like you could in the original version by shaking the Wiimote, but I choose to just press Y to do that. I tend to like playing my games lying down on the side, and it's kind of hard doing the fucking motion control shit when you're in that position. I want to restart Chrome since the stream for whatever reason the window is so glitchy, but I'm afraid that would end the stream, so I don't know if I'll do that. uh oh, someone's speeding. I don't know if the mic picked that up. Yesterday, I saw an ambulance go down the hill and then it made a U turn going back up the hill. Wonder if they made a wrong turn. This year will be big for me, moving to a new town and starting a new chapter. Yeah, haven't you mentioned in previous streams that you're moving, in the process of moving? I've always wondered what the moving process is like as someone who has lived in the same house for his entire life. Maybe someday I'll find out. Kind of like the kind of like this house since it's pretty much all I know. I personally enjoy foggy winter days sometimes, especially when I'm home. Yeah, I feel that. Though I am someone who vastly prefers sunny, beautiful days, but you don't get a lot of those days in winter, uh, especially in this part of the country. Um, like on average, gloomy days tend to depress me, but every once in a while, a gloomy day I can enjoy. Like it's a nice break from the bright sunny days. Well, I mean, again, not a lot of bright sunny days during this part of the year, with it being winter. And also, the time change that happened 2 months ago now, I think, where it gets darker earlier. That, the time change no one seems to like except for me. I mean, I understand why people don't like that time change, since it gets darker earlier. It's harder to see, at night as opposed to the day. But I'm someone who's, a big time night owl. The night the nighttime has always brought me more peace as opposed to the day, very tranquil. So just for me, I don't mind the time change at all. I mean, that's not to say like I wouldn't be shedding tears if, say, daylight savings time were to become the permanent the permanent time we would have. I wouldn't mind that since um I just wouldn't. I'd be fine with not having to change the clocks twice a year and having to adjust to a time change. I wouldn't mind not doing that anymore. So I'm willing to sacrifice standard time if that means just having a one a set time uh all year. The album was Just Visiting by Cog. I don't believe I've ever heard of Cog. I always dreamed to go to college along with being an indie artist. What kind of artist are you talking about? Like drawing, painting, or a music artist? Ah, the chat fucking jumped all the way to the bottom. I hate when it does that. Lose my place. Not sure how I'm going to get the money. I can make I can maybe make commissions or something. Oh, so you do mean I'm guessing you do mean drawing. Drawing is a skill that I kind of wish I had, but I just don't. I know practice makes perfect, but as a kid, I would draw all the time. Never got any better, so it was just like, yeah, maybe it's not meant to be. I'm much more of a writer. I've been not to brag, but I've been, complimented a lot on my writing skills, and I like, writing my own little short stories and poems, and hey, sometimes I even do essays for fun. So, it's not like you know, again, I'm much more of a writer than I am an artist, and I would like to make a living out of that, but again, a lot of writing jobs are being automated away. It's hard to find employment, steady employment. I mean, not just a shaky online job, which is what I have currently. Though there are benefits to that, very flexible hours. I can pretty much work whenever the fuck I want. And that's all the information you're gonna get. I'm not one to really talk about my employment or lack of employment. I don't think that's much of the internet's business. Take notes, Mudahar. I'm trying to become an indie animator similar to Artist Gamer Gal. Who's that, a YouTuber? Well, good luck. I don't mean that like sarcastically or anything. No, genuinely good luck. I hear animation is also like a tough industry to get into. And I think a lot of that is getting passed over to AI as well. Wonderful technology, right? Putting people out on their asses without jobs and fucking over people with the dreams that, who dream of having jobs that are now being automated away. And, these people have no recourse at all. They lose all their benefits, they lose their paycheck, and they're just expected to suck it the fuck up because this is the future. Ooh, lovely technology. So amazing and innovative. Yeah, I'm really feeling that innovation in this struggling economy where a lot of people can't get jobs. I seriously don't understand why patriotic morons say that think of the soldiers that fought for our country. That fought for our country. You have to go back like hundreds of years to like the American Revolution to, talk about troops that fought and died for our rights. In the last century, especially, a lot of our wars have been in the name of, natural resources that this country wants to fatten the wallets of people. people who are already obscenely wealthy. I'm not one of those, you have to blindly respect troops. I'm not that kind of person at all. Just because you served in the military and possibly committed war crimes for the sake of attaining natural resources, that doesn't necessarily earn my uncritical respect. Sorry. And 2017 is now 9 years ago. Still truly an amazing year. I agree. 2017 was great. I remember a lot of people back then were saying, "Oh, 2017 sucks," and I'm like, "This year's been the bomb for me personally." What the fuck is this tab here in the streaming dashboard? Shopping. Build excitement by releasing products in your stream. Here's how it works: tag products and create a drop. Start the countdown to release products in your stream. Time's up. Viewers can now buy these products. Yeah, is anyone clamoring for official Mikey merchandise? I wish. Like a month or two ago, I started seeing this tab on my channel pop up that says store, and apparently I could like set up my own store on my channel, or I guess I could like sell shit. That would be nice, but I know no one would fucking buy anything I would put there, so why bother? But yeah, I will always hold 2017 in very high regard. When it comes to my personal life, obviously, I mean, 2017, I didn't keep up with current events all that much back then. I still did to an extent. I did care about politics a little bit more than a lot of my friends back then. Though even still, most of my politics just revolved around fuck SJWs and nothing really substantive at all. But no, I mean, current events, a lot of bad shit happened that year, but what bad shit doesn't happen in any year? But that was a great year. That was the year I was pretty much a fucking stoner, at least for the first half of that year. That wasn't the year where I first started smoking weed. That was 2016, very late 2016. But 2017 was the year where I was just like smoking on almost a daily basis. Hard to believe 2017 is almost 10 years ago now. It's hard to believe 2016 is 10 years ago now. And yet, a lot of people online still like to make 2016 edginess their entire fucking personality. Like they're still 15 years old. Though they were probably 15 years old in 2016, and that's the year they peaked in high school. But no, like it's wild. 2016 is now a whole fucking decade ago. 10 years ago, right now, channels like Leafy were at the top of the chain here on YouTube. And now I have unironically seen people ask, "Who's Leafy?" And I'm like, wow, lucky you. Also, yeah, I'm in high school. I'm 19, but I repeated third grade in 2016. I was in third grade in 2010. No, 2009 going into 2010. I was in third grade. That was a nice year. Third grade, I remember. Well, that was the year I had what was the closest I had to a bullying problem. There were some kids that liked picking on me, though it wasn't like frequent or anything like that, but it was still something that kind of distressed me. So maybe it wasn't a great year in hindsight, but I still had a lot of fun in third grade. I don't really talk to anyone from my high school, and a lot of the kids there were annoying as hell. Well, there were obviously in my high school a fair share of kids who were annoying as fuck that I haven't spoken to since I graduated, don't plan on ever speaking to, and I'm glad that I don't have to ever interact with them ever again. Though hopefully, they've matured by now. But, I also made quite a bit of really good friends in high school that I had an absolute blast talking to, and still have a blast talking to for those who I still keep in touch with and get high with sometimes. Um, well, just a little over a week ago, I was hanging out at a friend's place, his apartment, um, and I didn't get high with him for once. We're just hanging out. Um, that was a good time. He had some LED light bulbs, and that inspired me to get some of my own. May as well show that off here. Has a bunch of different settings. Well, I got a 4 pack actually. We put those light bulbs in some of the lamps downstairs too. Here's blue. Well, that's actually purple. Yeah, that's a nice shade of blue. Red. Ooh, scary. Maybe I should leave it like this. Anyone who joins the stream will be freaked out by, oh, the red. Ooh, looks like I'm in hell. Green. There's one dynamic it's called that I like. This one. It's called party. Changes colors. Oh, there we go. I was like, it's supposed to change colors. Here's romance. Yeah, like I'm gonna need that in here. Maybe someday. Yeah, maybe someday. I'll keep it on party. I'll leave it like this for a little bit. This enough visual stimulation for you? Light changing colors. I'll keep it at least until I get a headache, which will probably not take that long. Oh, hello, Luna. Yo, I didn't notice your message there. It's about to be 4 years since I graduated high school. Again, it's wild to me that I graduated high school now almost 7 years ago. Like it does not feel that long. It no, actually, it's funny. It's a bit of a conundrum for me. It doesn't feel that long, but it also feels so fucking long ago at the same time. If that makes any sense, with all the shit that has happened between me graduating high school and now a goddamn pandemic, for example. But also, it just doesn't feel that long ago. I'm in this weird like middle ground where 2019 doesn't feel that long ago, but it also does at the same time. It's weird. I don't know if anyone else can relate. I'm just looking at how the lights look on my MacBook webcam. It doesn't look great from the webcam, but whatever. I love my high school. Everyone was so nice, especially the teachers. Way better compared to my high school back in Miami. Well, at least you don't have to go to school in Florida anymore, especially after they removed vaccine mandates for children. Pretty much making schools in Florida fucking vectors for diseases. that were at one point considered long gone, but now are making a resurgence because this country is fucking stupid and so anti-science. And unironically, a lot of people in this country think vaccines contain nanochips and shit like that, or poison, or anything fucking stupid of the sort. I got my COVID shot, my first COVID shot, almost 5 years ago now in 2021, around the time when they first started rolling out the COVID shot. I got a Pfizer, and I am still, 5 years later, perfectly fine. I am still waiting to turn into a zombie or whatever fucking stupid shit my one of my uncles on my father's side of the family told me once. And I still do get COVID boosters because I still very much take COVID seriously. And it's a shame that a lot of people still choose not to. When I take public transportation, I still wear a mask. Fun fact. Not even just because of COVID, but I don't know who the fuck I'm riding the bus with. And in my experience here in New York, not a lot of people who not a lot of people on public transit, at least, are very hygienic. A lot of people are leaving shit like their used gum on seats or sneezing without even bothering to cover their mouths. And yeah, ugh, rather not breathe in that air. I recently remembered watching your political views and Hell's Kitchen winner and Bob Dylan Zionist. Can't remember the name of it. You still stand by that? That's a video I made like what, a month ago? Not that long ago. Yeah, I still do stand by it. I'm not one to really care that much about the political opinions of people who aren't, political figures, or at least, people who are more quiet about their political viewpoints. Like, for example, people like Nicki Minaj, who want to, grift to the right and, make their stupid political shift and stupid political opinions everyone's business. I think they're more I think they're fair targets to be scrutinized since they're literally fucking inviting that. But when it comes to, like what you brought up and what I brought up in my video, like that one Hell's Kitchen winner, who is still my favorite, probably my favorite recent winner of the show, quietly following some pretty awful people on social media. Not to say like that can't be called into question and condemned. You can still have your opinions on that, sure. I do, for example. I still think that is pretty disappointing, but it doesn't take away like what I thought about his run on Hell's Kitchen, doesn't take away the fact that, he was a great chef on that show, who I very much enjoyed watching. And it's not like it's something I really have to care about all that much because I don't keep up with him. I don't know a single fucking thing about the dude outside of him being on Hell's Kitchen and winning. And I really don't fucking care who other people follow on social media. Again, if this dude was like making transphobic posts and vile shit of the sort, making very bigoted posts, and you know, making his awful political viewpoints everyone's business and publicizing them, then sure, yeah, you can you can criticize that all you want, and he would be pretty much inviting the scrutiny at that point. But when you're like quietly following people like Matt Walsh and shit, yeah, I mean, probably not a good person, or at the very least, they have pretty fucked political views, and yeah, I'd rather not associate with you if you're following people like that. But also at the same time, like if you're not like if that's all you're doing, like if that's all you're publicly doing, at the very least, following people who aren't, good people and have pretty repugnant viewpoints, and you're not actively like voicing said viewpoints yourself, then I don't really fucking care all that much. Same thing with the Sydney Sweeney, with like that whole jeans controversy. Yes, the commercial is problematic. Yes, it was a very blatant dog whistle. And yes, that you're more than free to criticize the commercial and her doing the commercial. But when it got to shit like, digging up her political history that I don't think she has ever talked about publicly. I don't know. I don't keep up with her. Maybe she has brought it up publicly. I don't know. But, people are finding out that she's a registered Republican and all that shit. I'm just like, I don't care. For one, I'm not a Sydney Sweeney fan. I saw her in two things, three actually. White Lotus, she's in the first season of that. Euphoria, don't really like that show all that much, but I watched it and she's in it. And Handmaid's Tale. I only just remembered she's in that like a few weeks ago. I saw that. I saw the Hulu adaptation a few years ago. And that was before I even knew who the fuck Sydney Sweeney was. But she has kind of backpedaled and kind of like denounced the whole, all the right wing chodes who have been uh pretty much hailing her as their Aryan princess, and that was kind of amusing. And it does kind of bring a little bit of a glimmer of hope that being a at least, or at the very least associating yourself with vile people, whether directly or indirectly, still has consequences. And of course, I've heard her movies have been bombing, or at least quite a few of them have bombed. Whatever. I mean, and I didn't plan on watching any of the movies she was in anyway. Hey, Mikey, and everyone. Hello, Olin. How are you doing? I'll be moving out to Warren County sometime this year, but my mom is still in rehab after surgery. She'll be there for 2 more weeks. Yeah, best of luck to your mom. How is she progressing? She doing good? What's this Discord notification? Something about PS1. I don't know. The notification went away, and I don't really care about looking at it right now. I'm still happy that I'm not in Florida anymore. I was so happy when I moved out of there, especially with Ron DeSantis's ass. Not that Georgia is any better, because that's also a red state. Well, Georgia is still at least slightly better than Florida. Florida is like fucking hell on earth at this point, with people like DeSantis in charge of it. Shithole state. Oh, what the fuck? Why did the chat jumped again? Let me find my place again. Ugh, so annoying. Well, kinda. Georgia is a swing state. Well, it was a swing state in the 2020 election, at least. Maybe it could happen again. Who knows? We'll see how 2028 pans out. I don't know if I have the highest hopes for 2028, considering, doesn't seem like we have many Democrats who are worth a fuck, at least at the national level. We have some great local level Democrats, Zoran Mamdani, for example. But unfortunately, he can't ever run for president because he wasn't born in this country. Because this country has the bullshit rule where if you're not a natural born citizen, then you can't run for president. My highest hopes for Zoran is him becoming governor someday. That would be awesome. The other day, I was crossing the street on the side on the crosswalk, and some car comes speeding and yelled at me. The fuck you doing, man? I just quietly said, "Stop speeding, you jackass." Yeah, there's a lot of assholes on the road. That's partially why I don't like driving. I don't have a car, though that's not uncommon in NYC with public transportation out the ass. There's a lot of people who don't drive here. There's a lot of people, even people I know, my uncle, for example, and some friends of mine, they have their licenses. They've taken driving tests and passed, but they don't have a car. They can drive, but, with public transportation everywhere, And public transportation isn't frowned upon here. Taking public transportation, I mean, isn't frowned upon here in this city, as it is in other places in this country and world. Since pretty much everyone, even people who have cars, take public transit. But I'm just like, why even fucking bother worrying about car expenses and all that shit when you could just take the bus anywhere you want or the train, you know? Saves me a lot of money. Saves a lot of people a lot of money, frankly. Obviously not every place in this country has that luxury. A lot of places where you need a car, unfortunately. Not the biggest car person, personally. My high school was a very great high school to be in due to how inclusive it was. My high school tried to be inclusive, but there were a lot of kids in my high school who were not inclusive at all, saying certain slurs out the ass and, just overall being very repugnant, to say the least. That's a lot of teenagers, unfortunately. And I'm sure it's not any better these days. In fact, it's probably gotten even worse with the rise of the red pill shit and manosphere and, you know, misogyny and bigotry in general being, very even more popular among kids and teenagers today. You okay? I was not expecting Pink to be here for this long. Here she is. She's just chilling. The year I graduated was when the principal at the time, Dr. Habel, retired. When I graduated elementary school, that was when my vice principal was retiring. She was at that school for years, I think decades even. So her retiring was a pretty big deal, and she retired the year I graduated, and she did a little goodbye speech at my graduation. Wonder how she's doing these days. Oh, she was actually kind of old back then in 2012, so who knows if she's still alive today. She was a really nice lady. I liked her. My principal that I had was also a really, really nice lady. The principal we had before that was some dude. He was kind of a douchebag. I didn't like him. But then when I was in, I think, third grade, the female principal replaced him. And she was really nice, like I said. Was it third grade or was it second grade she came in? Either one of those 2 years. She's not the principal anymore, though. I've looked up my elementary school, and it's a different principal now. Is there? At least as of 2020, some teachers I had back then are still there. I went on my elementary school's YouTube page, and they had a video from 2020 where the teachers were all introducing or saying or introducing themselves. I mean, to the new upcoming kids who were for the new school year. And there were some faces I remembered and some names I remembered, and I was like, "Oh shit, they're still there." This is 6 years ago now, or almost 6 years ago now. So maybe some of those teachers already um, left or retired. There was one teacher. I didn't have her, but I heard a lot of good things about her. She was a kindergarten teacher, or was she kindergarten or first grade? I don't remember honestly. But she was a really nice teacher, very popular teacher. She was there for a long time, also. Like Literally, there were some parents who took their kids to school who remembered having her as a teacher when they were kids. But unfortunately, I think I remember it was New Year's Eve she died, but I don't remember the year exactly. I think it was 2013 or 2014, either one of those 2 years, but she got into a fatal car accident. It wasn't even her fault either. Some fucking jackass was speeding. I think he was already driving with a suspended license on top of that. Horrible. Like, I saw pictures of the wreckage, nothing graphic. They already removed her body when they took the images of the wreck, but her car was totaled. Holy shit. It was haunting to look at. And I remembered seeing her around. Again, I never had her as a teacher, but I knew her. I saw her around the school. She was a very nice lady. All the kids loved her. Parents loved her. And again, a lot of the parents who had kids going to that elementary school when I was going there had her as a teacher. Someone's outside cursing every fucking day. I hear them saying, I don't know what the fuck they're talking, who they're talking to, or what they're talking about. But yeah, that was horrible. Like, yeah. The thing that was kind of eerie about her death, though, was I remember I did read an article about a news article from around the time she died. I read I read that I think just a few months ago when I was looking at my elementary school, and then I remembered her. She had a mother who died in a car accident in like 2006, 2007. Very similar death. And that brought me back to when I would take the school bus. One time it was, leaving the school zone, and I think she was crossing the street when she wasn't supposed to, and then she kind of freaked out at my bus driver, trying to accuse him of running her over, which he wasn't. And then I remember that must have been around the time her mother died, so her emotions must have been at an all-time high, especially when it comes to, like co- automobile collisions. I don't even remember where I left off. I don't remember where that tangent came from. I think here. Had a burp that didn't come out. I kind of wish I can go to New York or something. Well, it's very expensive here if you're talking about moving here someday. It's not cheap, but me and my family are managing. I split some bills with my uncle. I help out as much as I can. My mom may be losing her job though. Her company got bought up by another company that really loves AI. So obviously there's going to be a lot of job cuts. Her job may get the axe. She works for an interpretation company, and the company that bought her out, I was reading articles, and the CEO loves going on about how AI has been making breakthroughs in interpretation, and this is within the healthcare sector. Um, yeah, really fucking wonderful, right? You wanna talk to a medical professional, but there's a language barrier, and now you have to rely on faulty ass AI to fucking interpret what the medical professional is saying. Fuck this technology. I wanted to be a drawing artist, pretty much, more specifically a cartoonist. Well, good luck if that's something you're serious about pursuing. I do have nothing but respect for people who, want to create art and want to enter the art world, but I have no respect for these fucking executives at like, media companies, for example, trying to automate that away as well, automate art away in this for the sake of efficiency and cutting costs instead of getting real animators and artists and such. They want to automate that away as well and have AI fucking take that over. So again, they can cut costs and hoard more money for themselves. I haven't said it enough. Fuck this technology. I feel for the artists and animators who have been laid off because of AI art. I do really feel for them. That was their fucking passion. And again, greedy, rich executives want to cut costs and, shit can these people out of jobs they actually fucking loved doing and were very passionate about. But oh, they got to say the rich executives get to save money and the shareholders and all that bullshit. People who don't have a creative bone in their goddamn bodies who just want to hoard more wealth for themselves. You want to cut costs? How about you fucking do the animating and do all the other hard work that goes into creating these cartoons and movies and such? Artist Gamer Gal is a YouTube animator known for Mario Kart 69 and Hero High, a Zelda fan series where Zelda characters are in high school. That's interesting, I guess. I wonder what high school in Hyrule would be like. Well, there are schools in the Zelda universe, though I don't believe I've ever seen a high school be depicted in the Zelda universe. More like schools for children, like uh, like in Wind Waker, for example. I want to play Wind Waker again soon. Such a good game. I still only have the GameCube version of Wind Waker. I got that way back in 2012, 2013. No, it was 2013 the HD remaster came out, right? Or remake, whatever you want to call it. No, I remember now. I got the GameCube version literally like a few weeks before the HD version was announced. And I was like, oh, well, fuck. I remember going on Miiverse and complaining about that even, saying, "Oh, I just got the GameCube version of this game and now they announced this HD version." And I remember someone on Miiverse was saying something like, "Yeah, 12 fucking years to buy this game or however old the game was by that time." Well, so stop complaining. Well, they said that, but minus the profanity, and they had a point. No, the game was 10 by then. Came out in 2003. And a graphic slash web designer. My interest in digital animation came from my love for 90s to 2000s graphic design. Yeah, again, I wish you luck considering, that sector of jobs is also being automated away. Fuck this technology. I've heard so many people say 2017 was amazing, except a few, of course. Well, that's because 2017 is considered nostalgic now. I remember when 2016 was still going, people were saying, this year is so shit. Same with 2016. Everyone fucking hated 2016 back when we were still in that year. And now that year is so fucking coveted, especially by these internet jackasses who miss when they could say the N word online without any consequences like you could in that year. They glamorize the fuck out of that year and say, "Huh, I miss 2016. Things and especially the internet were so much better back then." Here's something that annoys me. I've even seen some like stupid fucking kids glamorize 2016, more specifically the internet culture back in 2016. People who are obviously like very little kids at the most back then. And I'm like, what the fuck are you lecturing me for about 2016 when you were like a goddamn toddler back then or a little kid? You weren't watching Leafy back then. You were watching fucking Coco Melon probably. So don't talk to me about the internet culture back then when I was the one who was the prime age for that shit back then, not you. There's the stereotype about people with PTSD or war veterans, example being Flippy from Happy Tree Friends, the green army bear guy, who's surprisingly one of my favorites. Well, I don't know much about Happy Tree Friends. I haven't seen any of those videos in years. I do remember which character you're talking about, though. That character had like a split personality, right? Cute and cuddly 1 second, psycho murderer the next, something like that. I remember watching those videos as a kid and being scared. I don't even know if they still make those videos. But you could get PTSD in many different ways. It's not just things that are as extreme as like being a veteran and actually being like in a war or on a battlefield or anything like that. Again, you could get PTSD in various different ways. Like, for example, you could get PTSD from looking at very graphic images online, like extreme gore videos or pictures, things like that, extremely shocking and disturbing things that you're just seeing on your screen. You could develop PTSD from that. It's not a joke. And, you don't need to develop PTSD from extreme abuse or again being on like a battlefield or some shit. So yeah, it's kind of a misguided stereotype. 2017 was the year I made lots of friends, discovered lots of good bands, and drank lots of soda. LOL, best year ever. Soda. I never liked soda. Never liked any brand of soda, personally. My teeth are very thankful for that. My mom used to love drinking soda way back when I was a kid, but she cut that out of her life, thankfully. And now she has to really watch her diet because she has a fatty liver. I want to change my position, but I don't want to distress Pink. She's comfy. Look. Reminds me of Charlie. There were quite a few streams, if I recall correctly, where Charlie was here for pretty much the entire time, or at least for most of the stream. I don't remember which message I left off at. There's also the stereotype about people. I read that, didn't I? It's usually the PTSD character having war flashbacks and turning into a killing machine or something, or that some like to call going Rambo. I mean, yeah, that can exist. That's a very extreme form of PTSD, but like with a lot of things, PTSD can come in many forms and can be developed in many different ways. I just think that, as a whole, a lot of people, especially in this country, don't have the best grasp at mental health and mental health disorders, and kind of make like these very generalized stereotypes of certain mental health disorders and such that can be problematic because it puts a negative and very trivialized, I guess, stereotype in a lot of people's heads about how a certain mental health disorder works when again many mental health disorders can come in many different forms. Like for example, autism. I made a whole video about this. I know people who think of autism as like, the children's disorder where, kids are making screeching sounds and get overly giddy when a train passes by and all that. And there have been some people who were surprised to find out that I have autism, and they're like, "Oh, wow. You're normal. You're not you know, I would never think you have autism." And these are people who are, not neurodivergent, they're neurotypical, so they have no idea what it's like to have autism. It's funny, I've had some people, both in my personal life and online who have autism, and are like, "Yeah, I knew right away. You didn't need to tell me you have autism." But the people who have no idea what autism is like, and they have like this, stereotype of autism in their heads, and I don't meet that stereotype apparently, and they get all surprised that I have autism. It's kind of annoying that people have, especially with autism, people have, this stereotype in their heads of what a certain disorder is like when it's not always like that. Autism can come in many different forms. There are plenty of people who are seemingly normal who have autism and, can lead perfectly regular lives. Cars and new Super Mario Bros. DS turned 20 this year. Oh, the movie Cars? Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in years, and I don't know if I have much desire to watch that movie. I loved it as a kid, but I don't know how much I would care for it these days. I'm gonna change my position. Fuck it. Here we go. Led Zeppelin shirt up recently. Can't see it that well, can you? I'm done with this fucking. There we go. It does seem like the majority of the world had a good 2017. Yeah, probably. It's just that it's always kind of annoying that, a year that you remember so clearly, everyone fucking hating when that year was still the current year being praised now. At least for me back then, I was saying that 2017 was a great year. It's not like I was, joining the bandwagon and with a lot of other people and saying, 2017 is bullshit. And then, when that year is considered nostalgic now, jumping the bandwagon again and saying, "Oh, 2017 was so great." I've been saying from the jump that 2017 was a great year. I am going to turn 20 this year. Nice. When's your birthday? I'm going to be 25 in March. My mid 20s. Well, actually, isn't 24 considered your mid 20s, the beginning of your mid 20s? Doesn't feel like it personally. For me, when I think of mid 20s, I think more like 26, 27. But yeah, I mean, when you turn 20, I mean, it's cool in the sense that you're now a whole decade older. But when I turned 20, the novelty wore off like after a day. You know, the day of me turning 20 was really cool. I had a birthday party. I had a lot of family come over, including even my dad. That was a good day. But after a day or so of being 20, officially in my 20s, I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm 20 now. Cool. I don't feel any different. I also remember that rant you did on your second grade teacher. Oh, yeah, that teacher. That's the one who took my DS. Or was it my DSi? No, I had a DS Lite back then. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, I really didn't like that teacher back then. She was kind of a douche to not only me but a lot of other students. Very strict teacher, not the good kind of strict either. I also had a fifth grade teacher who I really didn't like. But the second grade teacher, I mean, yeah, the first teacher I have a bad memory surrounding and don't look back on fondly. If I remember correctly, I don't remember if I mentioned this in the video. It's been so long since I watched that video. She showed me pictures of what was supposedly her son playing on my DS, but honestly, that probably wasn't even my DS. Probably her son's DS, and she wanted me to think that it was my DS, just to fuck with me, I guess. Which is fucked up. Either way, Grok is being used to create AI-generated child sexual abuse material on Twitter. Yeah, I know. I'm aware. It's all the more reason for me to not use Twitter. Fuck that shit. Like, genuinely, any decent person, well, they should have left that platform ages ago, but now especially when the goddamn AI chatbot that's integrated into that site is being used to generate what is decisively child porn, no mincing words. It's just disgusting, and I can't see how any decent person could still be actively using that platform. And the platform owner, Elon, doing fucking nothing about that, and laughing at pictures people generate with him using Grok, with him in a bikini. So hilarious, and I totally didn't have the urge to gouge my eyes out seeing that. That's his response to that controversy, just laughing and treating it like it's one big meme. Disgusting website. Here's my favorite kind of lamp slash light, lava lamps. I have one of my own. I had a lava lamp many, many years ago when I was a little kid. My dad used to have one, and the lava lamp I had, he gave to me when he moved out. I wish I still had that, but that thing stopped working a long time ago. But I'm happy with my LED light. What other effects does it have? Christmas. Oh, green and red. Halloween. Yeah, this one's kind of boring. Again, romance. Like I'm ever gonna fucking need this theme in my room. Maybe someday. Ocean. Deep dive. Oh, this is nice. We keep this for a little bit. Those lights are really cool. Wish I had them. They're not that expensive. Well, I mean, it was 20, not 20 bucks, 30 something bucks actually, because I bought a 4 pack for my room and my mom wanted to put some in the lamps downstairs. It's really cool. I graduated high school 5 years ago, half a decade ago. Damn. Well, I mean, try being me and graduating high school nearly 7 years ago now. So probably even more mind-boggling. Oh, she want to leave? No, she's just sitting there. I don't know. Maybe she just wants to chill on top of my night table. Back when I was in 8th grade in Florida, fights were so bad that the school had to punish the entire students by giving them silent lunch, and they can't have their phones out because of the fights. When I was in middle school, we weren't even allowed to use phones during lunch, period, whether we were in trouble or not. I remember my dean, who was this lady, I forget her name. Not that I would say her name on this channel anyway. She had this annoying as fuck voice when she would yell, like she was fucking squawking into the mic. She would make announcements and shit during lunch. Now I'm just like, even today I'm like, just let the fucking kids have lunch and socialize. We don't need to fucking. Why did they need to fucking hear you fucking squawk into the goddamn microphone and scream at them, telling them to be quiet so they could hear announcements they don't give a shit about? I think Pink wants to leave. Hang on. Pink's gone now, unfortunately. She stayed a lot longer than I thought she would, though, so kudos to her for that. Anyway, yeah, I didn't like that Dean at all. She was kind of, well, she wasn't rude to me. I had a few interactions with her, and she was nice to me personally, but still, just wasn't much of a fan of her. One of the other deans for the other grades, though, she was scary. Like when she would scream, she sounded like a fucking, I don't know, black metal vocalist. Or at least that's what should have been her calling instead of being a school dean, because she when she got angry, she and started yelling, she was scary, genuinely. My high school before I moved to Georgia also had a few fights as well. They were bad as well, but my high school I'm currently in rarely has fights. I remember there was one time, like towards the end of I think junior year, there were fights on almost a daily goddamn basis. And you had the usual kids huddling around the fight to get to film and hoping to post on to like TikTok or some shit. hoping that the video will go viral because so many people are like content brained now. And even back then, I never really paid attention to that when there was a fight going on in, say, my lunch period in high school, which lunch in high school was much better than lunch in the middle school since they would just let us use our phones and chill out and not try to like talk to us during the staff, I mean, talk to us during lunch like in my middle school. But anyway, I never paid attention to any fights. If I saw one going on in the lunchroom, I'd just kind of mind my business and look at my phone, or if it was in the hallway, I would just keep walking. I wasn't one to fucking spectate that bullshit. I remember one time there was a girl fight. Two girls were like beefing with each other or some shit. I don't even remember what the fuck it was about. Some dumb bullshit like what every school fight is predicated on, basically. And I remember they were planning to fight somewhere outside of the school campus, like a park that was nearby or something, and a lot of kids were going to go and watch the fight and film it, of course. And some of my friends went to that, and they asked me, "Hey, do you want to go and watch the fight?" And I'm like, "Fuck no, I'd rather just go home. I don't fucking care about that shit." And I just went home, and turns out I made the right choice because a lot of the kids who were seen in videos of the fight ended up getting suspended. That's what you get for caring about dumb bullshit like that. One of the girls in that fight transferred shortly after, which wasn't much of a loss to me because I didn't like her anyway. I've heard people out in West New Jersey are very chill and cool. For my 21st birthday last year, I went to a lakefront grill in Lake Hapa. Hapa, I'm not even gonna try. Everyone was very chill. Yeah, I have a cousin who is in deep Jersey, deep into Jersey. I mean, like literally a drive from my house to her house is like, I don't know, a 3 hour drive, depending on traffic, of course. It's pretty secluded where she's at, a lot of forest. Seemed like a nice quiet area. Little too quiet for me since I'm always so used to cars and buses passing by and all that shit. I don't have a Twitter account. I use Blue Sky instead. Yeah, I use Blue Sky instead too. I don't look at Twitter aside from the other day when the ice killing happened. I wanted to see the video of that, and I knew Twitter was gonna have the video, and surely enough, it did. Same thing when Charlie Kirk died. I think before a few days ago, that was the last time I went on Twitter to see the video of the Charlie Kirk shooting, and unfortunately, the first video I saw was the close-up video, and yeah, that stays with you for a while. My thoughts on Charlie Kirk as a human aside, yeah, that video was awful to watch. Oh, I mean, I took a lot of pleasure out of watching that video. I was laughing and gloating. That's what a lot of people thought my reaction was. I got the 300 episodes SpongeBob DVD set, a Looney Tunes DVD set, and Psycho Pass on Blu-ray today. I don't know what Psycho Pass is. I didn't know there was a 300 episode set of SpongeBob. Is it Is it in like any order? Like how many seasons does it contain, or is it just like a bunch of episodes jumbled together? My mom would get pissed off when someone gets in the way while she is driving. My mom can be an angry driver. Not often, though. And she doesn't get nearly as mad as some other people I've seen on the road. But I remember some mornings when she would take me to my high school. Most mornings I would just take the bus to school, but sometimes she would take I would go with her if we happened to be leaving at the same time. Her office was on the way. I mean, my school was on the way to her office, and oh god, the traffic would be so fucking bad usually when in the street outside of my school. People trying to get to work, people dropping off their kids. Ugh, that would be the cause of me being late to class sometimes in the morning. I don't drive and probably never will. It'll be cool though. So long as I live in NYC, and that'll probably be for the rest of my life, but who knows, I suppose. But for as long as I live here in a place that has public transportation that can take you pretty much everywhere, I don't see a point in driving. I have no interest in driving, and I don't plan on driving. I don't need that extra expense in my life. I don't need a car, none of that. I'm fine with taking the bus, or if I'm really in a rush, or in the rare instance where taking the bus isn't convenient, I take an Uber. Or if if I'm going grocery shopping and I know I have a lot of heavy stuff and, taking the bus just isn't practical, I take an Uber back home. Also, your school is like that. I never heard students in my school saying slurs to POC kids. I forgot to say that my school is really diverse. Everyone is chill. Well, that's cool. I mean, no one was like outright racist in the sense that they were maliciously saying slurs to students who were, people of color. Though there was, though a lot of us still said some very insensitive things. It was just, typical dumb edgelord teen bullshit that most people grow out of. Hopefully, good to know that your high school is chill. And I have no idea what the fuck my high school is like now, since I haven't stepped foot in it in nearly 7 years. And obviously, all the students there are completely different now. My high school opened in, I think, 2013. Actually, the building it's in is divided into three different schools, if it's even still divided into three different schools today. But I know at least the portion I went to, where my high school was, still exists. I was part of the original four sets of students who went to that school. I There wasn't even a 12th grade yet when I first went to that high school, because not everyone graduated yet. The oldest kids were still in 11th grade, and now all the originals are long gone. I'm still thankful that I got to have a normal graduation. I mean, I know I don't give a shit about graduation ceremonies and all that, but you know, still, I would still take having a normal graduation ceremony over having a fucking virtual one. and missing out on a lot of senior activities. That seniors who people who were seniors in high school missed out on during the COVID age. I just barely missed that. I graduated in 2019. If I were just a year younger, oh shit. Like I didn't go to prom. I didn't do a lot of the senior activities. I didn't go on the senior trip either. But that was all on my own accord. My decision. I wasn't, stripped of that choice because of lockdown. Though the students were still immature, they played around and screamed, but there were no fights. Oh, at least there's no fights. Fireplace. Eh, does it really pick up on the camera? Kind of. I made my own custom theme or dynamic, whatever the fuck it's called. Oh, it works. Holy shit! I kept trying to do this yesterday, but it wasn't working on this lamp. It was working on the lamps downstairs, but not this one. But now it works here. I created this dynamic. I chose the colors. Be proud of me. I haven't heard a bunch of seniors in my Earth systems class say the stupid 6-7 meme. Oh, really? That meme extends to high school as well. I figured it was just children saying that, like little children, elementary schoolers and middle schoolers. I remember going shopping a few weeks ago, and I saw this one kid in a 6-7 hoodie, and I'm like, "There's already merch of that." Well, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised, but still. Well, I don't need to go to school anymore, so I haven't heard anyone say that meme. All my friends are in their 20s, so we're kind of past the age bracket that kind of shit appeals to. So I don't have to hear it. But then again, I'd rather take someone saying shit like 6-7 over someone saying slurs or bullying kids that don't fit in with society, aka cringe culture. Well, absolutely. Repeating an annoying meme over and over again is much more preferable to harassment and bullying and being bigoted. I got a comment. We should let Russia and China do whatever they want in America's backyard. Let's go, Trump. I'm guessing my Venezuela video is popping off now because I'm getting all these fucking dumbass Trumpers commenting under it now. Now I'm done yapping. Well, yap away. That's the point of the stream, for me to interact with people who are yapping. Got a Discord notification. I'll look at that later. If I could move anywhere, I'd want to move to a city like Waldorf. Where is that exactly? Or Waldorf, it might be pronounced. There's a whole bunch of different ones, and there's one place in New York that's the Waldorf or Waldorf Hotel. I highly doubt that's what you're referring to. The town I would be going to is called Belvidere. I think it actually borders Pennsylvania. I see. I've never been anywhere near Pennsylvania, and I've most certainly never been in Pennsylvania. I don't know anyone there. I don't think, at least. AI is one of the worst things to happen, especially if you're a creative person. Yeah, it completely undermines creativity and art by just, automating said art away to a machine, a soulless machine that has no intention with what it's creating. It just does what it's told. And, there's no expression within the art whatsoever because, again, it's just created by a heartless machine. And that's the future to look forward to. We need a blue wave more than ever, America. Please get out and vote, people. Well, I mean, I'll be voting in midterms. I just hope we elect Democrats in that are worth a fuck. I mean, still preferable to MAGA Republicans, but that's a very, very low bar. Well, I am paying a little bit of attention right now to the gubernatorial primary here in New York. Kathy Hochul is up for re-election this year. If she wins the Democratic primary, but I am really interested in electing Delgado, who is running as the Democratic one of the Democratic nominees against Hochul in the upcoming primary, who is to her left. He's currently in her administration right now, so he's working alongside her while also running against her. That's pretty interesting, at least to me. I'm hoping he wins the primary. He's much more aligned with, say, Zoran Mamdani than Hochul is. I mean, I know Hochul's been playing ball a lot with Zoran lately, but who's to say she'll continue to do that if she were to win re-election this year? She could easily just, fuck him over for the rest of these next 4 years if she were to win. If she is to win re-election this year, and she's only helping him out now to look good for the election coming up and increase her chances. The gubernatorial primaries in June, and I'm definitely planning on voting in that and voting for Delgado. But I shouldn't get too excited. Well, I said that to myself before the last year's Democratic primary for mayor when I thought Cuomo was going to win that, and look what happened. But still, it's better to temper your expectations rather than get too excited. I learned my lesson after 2020 when Bernie Sanders was fucked over. When I was a kid, I was very obsessed with Pokemon, still am, and like to keep track of all the Pokemon Ash. Ash saw and caught in the episodes. I never played a single Pokemon game. Most certainly, I've never seen the anime. Is that anime still going, by the way? Shit. If it's still on, what's it been like 30 years since it first aired? At least. Is it true when people say if you didn't get into Pokemon as a kid, you're never going to get into it as an adult? How true is that? Like over the years, I have been kind of interested in trying Pokemon out. I don't know how much I'd like it since I'm not like outside of the Mother series, I'm not the biggest turn-based RPG fan. Like I've played some other turn-based RPGs in the past, like Persona 5, for example, and good game. Hell, great game even, looking at it objectively, but um the style of combat isn't really much my thing. I was a lot more invested into that game's story than I was the gameplay. Very fucking long game too. I mean, I've been wanting to play that game again. New game plus this time. I don't want to start from scratch all over again a third time. And I am interested in getting the PS5 version of that game since it is in a nice crisp 60 FPS. Too bad Atlas makes you fucking buy it again at full price, but I'm sure I'd be able to find a good deal for it on eBay since it's been out for a few years at this point. But it's also just so long, Persona 5. Oh, 100 hours at least. Unless you're like speed running it, I suppose. Which I guess I can do that, but I'm not a speed runner. I'm not the type. I'm very much the type to take my time when playing games and taking in the atmosphere and all that. For me, a lot of enjoyment is lost if I just rush through a game. Yeah, that's the big thing that keeps me from playing that game again. And I mean, it's not like every single second of that game is really necessary anyway. There's definitely a lot of filler storylines in that game that I won't get into for the sake of not spoiling anyone in the chat who hasn't played the game and are interested in playing it. The 300 episode set is every episode up to episode 300. Oh, what is the 300th episode? And what season is it? Does the box set just stop abruptly in the middle of one of the seasons? Not like SpongeBob is a story-based show. We have to like pay attention to every episode anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Psycho-Pass is a dystopian anime series set in the 2100s where people are endlessly scanned based on their potential to do crimes. If their crime coefficient exceeds 100, they get knocked out. Oh. Well, it's an anime series, so that's why I haven't heard of it because I don't watch anime. Maybe I should, but Closest I've ever got to watching an anime was Avatar: The Last Airbender. I know that's not actually an anime, but that's why I said closest. Really, really good show that I plan on rewatching relatively soon. Back in early 2019, there was a fight between two kids. I heard there was a lot of blood, and both kids got expelled. I remember there was a fight between two kids who were in one of the other high schools that was in the same building my high school was in, and one of those kids brandished a knife. No one got seriously hurt or anything, but yeah, the kid with the knife I heard got expelled. I was talking about Waldorf, Maryland. Well, never been in Maryland, so I never heard of that city. I frankly don't know too much about Maryland. The Pokemon anime is still going on, but Ash is no longer the protagonist. Now the series follows a girl named Lyco and a boy named Roy. This year is the 30th anniversary of the Pokemon games. Uh, I thought that anime was 30 years old at this point. And I guess it was high time to retire Ash, considering he's been like what 12 years old for 20 plus years, something like that. Yeah. It's time for him to graduate to the age of 13 or whatever the fuck. Pokemon anime turns 30 in 2027. Ash was close to 10, was also 10 years old in every season he was in. 10, he was. Well, the time came for him to turn 11 and put the Pokemon shit behind him, I guess, or whatever. The 300 episode set has every episode up to season 14, except for Quarantined Crab, because it was delayed from airing in the US for a few years due to COVID, even though it aired in Canada in 2020. Really? They had, a, they had an episode about quarantine that was made like right before COVID. That's funny. Or at least an episode with quarantine in the name. That's funny. 300. I didn't think 300 went all the way up to season 14. I figured there was a shitload of episodes in each season, so episode 300 was I thought episode 300 would have been in like I don't know, season 5 or some shit. I guess I severely overestimated how many episodes are typically in a SpongeBob season. SpongeBob is in season 16 right now, so that box set has almost all the episodes then, minus 2 seasons. Wow. SpongeBob has a lot less episodes than I thought it had. Because I assumed like again, I thought each season had like a lot of episodes. So I thought that show was like nearing at least 1,000 episodes by now. It's amazing that that show is still going. I mean, I know why it's still going. Major cash cow for Nickelodeon. But I mean, I've heard, I've seen some clips of new SpongeBob episodes, and I noticed Tom Kenny's voice for SpongeBob isn't what it used to be. A lot more hoarse these days. I mean, not that I blame the guy. He's like, what, fucking 60 years old now? Can't do that voice forever, but it's just, yeah, you can tell, like, dude's getting older, listening to a SpongeBob voice now. There's an upcoming episode that's going to be set on Mr. Krabs' birthday. Well, I don't know how old Mr. Krabs is canonically, if he even has a canon age. All I know is that he's old as fuck. That one episode where he was, feeling old and wanted to be hip and cool again. That's when SpongeBob and Patrick do the panty raid. And it ended up being Mr. Krabs' mom's house. It was a good episode. I guess you're gonna miss the panty raid. Bubble Bass also appears a lot in modern episodes. Yeah, I know that. I remember a few years ago seeing clips of Bubble Bass in a SpongeBob episode doing like a nostalgia critic spoof of all things. I thought that was so weird and kind of funny. But yeah, I have heard that Bubble Bass is a regular character now. He should have been a regular character from the beginning, frankly. He was a good rival to SpongeBob. I think I remember hearing it was either Bubble Bass or Plankton that was going to be the main villain, and I think audiences ended up liking Plankton more, so they went with Plankton, obviously. But I think they should have still kept Bubble Bass around because, again, like he's like the only character that elicits such negative emotions out of SpongeBob. Not even Plankton could achieve that usually. I did get the new SpongeBob game for Christmas. What the fuck is it called? I have it here. Titans of the Tide. Right here. It's one of the games I got for Christmas alongside Silent Hill F, Galaxy 1 and 2, and Metroid Prime 4. Gonna play the SpongeBob game after I finish both Galaxy games. I don't know the reception of Titans of the Tide, but I obviously really like Battle for Bikini Bottom, and I liked the other one a few years ago. Um, the sequel to Battle of Bikini Bottom. So I trust that I'll enjoy this game too. Cosmic Shake, it's called. Shit. I don't know why I blanked on the name for a second there. SpongeBob's voice got more nasally and high pitched starting with season 4. Yeah, I know that. And obviously, Tom Kenny's voice just couldn't handle it after a certain point because, again, his voice is sounding kind of rough. His SpongeBob voice, I mean, sounding kind of rough these days, what I've noticed. I'd imagine when you're doing that voice for years on end, it ends up impacting your regular voice and your ability to keep doing that voice. Krabs was born in either 1942 or 1960. It's changed across episodes. I'll believe 1942. The show has depicted him as that old, so. There was also an episode a while back where SpongeBob went back in time and saw himself from episode one. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. Not the episode, but I remember seeing a clip of that on YouTube because it appeared on my feed. I forget what exactly was said in the episode though, or at least in the clip I saw. Yeah, SpongeBob got tired of being in a show that has run since 19 fucking 99. Told his past self, no, don't go to the Krusty Krab. Tom Kenny has a scar on his neck from moving his hand against it when he does the SpongeBob laugh. Yeah, I've seen how he does the SpongeBob laugh. He does this, something like this. Yeah, I'd imagine moving your hand at a fast pace across your neck for years on end constantly would leave a scar. I also like how Tom Kenny is the narrator in Powerpuff Girls and also the mayor. Yeah, Tom Kenny's been in so much shit. A lot of shit I've watched during my childhood. The city of Townsville. I honestly feel so bad for Tom Kenny. He's been basically exploited by Nick. Like he's been voicing the iconic Sponge since 1999. Like give the man a break already. I'm sure it pays well. Why has he complained about that? Tom Kenny was also Ice King. Yeah, from Adventure Time. I only saw like the first season or two of Adventure Time. Adventure Time started airing like right before I stopped watching cartoon channels. So I have no idea what Adventure Time was like in the later seasons and how it ended and all that shit. And quite frankly, I don't really care. I don't know anything about any cartoon that has come out in the past, like, I don't know, 13, 14 or so years. Tom also voices Eduardo from Foster's as well, yeah. Foster's is such a good show, too. Made by the same guy who made Powerpuff Girls. I think he left Powerpuff Girls to do Foster's, and that's precisely when Powerpuff Girls went to shit, got a different showrunner, and went downhill in its last few seasons. Evidently, Craig McCracken is the only person who knows how to make Powerpuff Girls good because there was the reboot, which was bad. And, pretty much everything that involved Powerpuff Girls that didn't involve him were shit. I remember seeing the Adventure Time pilot when it first aired. Like the first episode, or the pilot. Did that even air on TV? I know Adventure Time was originally supposed to be on Nickelodeon, and then it got shifted over to Cartoon Network, which probably thank God for that. I probably would have gotten canceled in a season or two because it wasn't instantaneously a big hit like SpongeBob. The first episode, no, I think I saw the first episode when it aired as well. Cartoon Network really hyped that show up. Even had a lot of commercials for it. Even some commercials, including this fucking annoying kid screaming, "What time is it? Adventure time!" Forgot about that until now. Yeah, in hindsight, it's probably for the best that Adventure Time didn't end up being on Nickelodeon. I'm sure Nickelodeon would have fumbled that show hard. Nicktoons now is pretty much a 24/7 marathon of SpongeBob. Isn't that also just the regular Nickelodeon channel? Do they still just air SpongeBob all day? Well, they got another hit show now. The I'm gonna get it right. The Loud House, right? Not the other one. The Owl House. Always confuse those two shows. They have that show now too, so I guess they are that also. I mostly watch anime these days. Again, I don't really watch anime. Well, I don't watch anime at all. Not really for any particular reason, like, oh, I'm so against watching anime. It's just that I don't have much of an interest in watching any anime, really. Maybe someday. I don't know. There's no anime that particularly interests me that I'm really dying to see, so whatever. Anyway, my voice hurts over the 2 hour mark, so I'm gonna end the stream finally. You can all finally scatter off and do something else instead of watching me drone on and on for over 2 hours. No, really. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to everyone who was here previously but are not here now. I appreciate everyone who tunes into these streams, no matter how long they stay, but especially those who have stayed for the entirety of the stream. Again, I can't imagine watching myself for 2 hours just rambling. Really, thank you. It's highly appreciated. The next stream will be sometime in February. You already know my streaming schedule by now, so I don't really need to explain it. And I don't need to keep crowing on and keeping you here. You're finally free to leave. Bye bye.